go into great detail of that because it's not about your goose hunt, but that's why you weren't there. So we might as well just get started. But that's the gist of.
Oh, we're already rolling.
What we're talking about.
He's already going.
Very good. So
On top.
so guys, just to introduce everybody, obviously, I'm Devin. Then we have Braden here, which you've seen already in the elk hunt series, and then we have Oliver over there, which you've seen him as well, and then we have Walter, which you guys have not seen Walter. So Walter is one of our good hunting buddies, but he didn't go on the elk hunt with us this year. He went with us the previous year, which we weren't filming at that time yet. But yeah, didn't join us this year. He was a little preoccupied. So why weren't you there with us this year, Walter?
We were chasing moose in Alaska, so a lot of fun.
Did you get one?
Yeah, we got one. We got a caribou also. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a little bit more exciting than Utah elk. Just by a little bit. So we hope that you guys have enjoyed the series thus far. So yeah, it's just the archery elk hunt, and I got my first bull elk, and so he's sitting right here with us. But as you saw, Braden and I, we packed in before Oliver came in with us.
Yeah.
And
about 7 days earlier.
Yeah, about a week earlier, and it was a little slow. Like go ahead.
It was really rough. Like the first whole week, we just weren't hearing or seeing anything. And as you guys saw, we saw like a little bit of sign here and there, but we were like, man, it could have been a week-old sign, and they just moved out of the area. So we were like, right before I went and found the bull, we were thinking there was no freaking elk up there at the time. We're like, they're just gone. We're like, they just up and vanished. So it was like really demoralizing the first little bit. Of course, and you're gonna have hunts like that, but like,
I think what made it worse and even more demoralizing is the previous year we went in there and we were just surrounded by elk.
All over the freaking place.
They were screaming at night. It was just what you dream of archery elk hunting. And so we go in there with similar expectations this year. Maybe it won't be quite as good, but we went in there with similar expectations this year, and we did not get that.
Yeah, it was just nothing to be found anywhere until I finally found that bull, which is why in the video you guys watched I was freaking out because I was like, there's actually an elk up here. I couldn't believe it. I was like so excited after all those days of just getting totally skunked. So it was pretty great.
So the two of you weren't there, and really, like, we told Oliver the story when he got there, but Walter, you've also just seen it for the first time. So what were your guys' thoughts kind of leading up to that? Like, it was super slow for the week, but then Braden finds that bull and has that reaction. What were you guys thinking?
So for me, I mean, I was basically on my way up. I was mentally prepared to come into that situation again with the expectations of, okay, well, there's a herd of elk up there, just like last year was, and yep, you've got a bull bugling. Okay, well, you found the elk, meaning multiple elk, but you only found a elk.
Yeah. So you were expecting there to be another herd up there like last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it's hard to say.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I'd figured that you'd come across a decent herd of elk that, maybe there's obviously a lead bull, one or two raghorns and a couple of spikes or so,
Yeah.
So I figured going back in there that we'd get a little more action, or at least you guys would get a little more action of that basin. It's a big basin. I guess you're just lucky that you pulled that bad boy out of there.
Yeah.
Because they just weren't there for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
Yeah. I think they were lower in elevation.
I think they were in lower elevation too.
It's 100%. I think that's the conclusion we all came to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just because
They definitely weren't higher, that's for sure.
I think it was a good wet like latter summer, and so they didn't need that kind of greener feed that was up high,
Right.
and so
They were
it
able
was,
to access it down lower.
it was greener down lower. And that's where
Yeah.
where they were at. That's why we weren't seeing as much up high.
Well, that's something we noticed as we were walking around in both places that we had visited, is you could tell that the grass had been munched on a little bit here and there, but it hadn't been grazed through. There was new green up that was there, but it hadn't been eaten. So it was
It's
pretty
like-
obvious that
It's like the herd came through, but they didn't really stick around very long.
no, they didn't stick around very long.
Or there's only one out.
Yes.
Been there all
There
summer.
was two.
There was, yeah, we did see
We
that.
put eyes on two total elk.
Yeah.
Up there, so
Yeah.
so Walter, you weren't there. I mean, obviously we told you a little bit about what had happened. You knew that I had gotten the bull, but for you, your first time seeing the hunt was, you know, the episodes that have come out, the last
So
the 8 total elk hunting episodes. So what were your thoughts? We've kind of gotten up to, you know, us finding this elk, us not seeing very much over the first week. So
I'm
Thoughts
probably
on that?
more excited than he was when I made the video of you eating your breakfast. But I mean, obviously, I got a little bit of the film before the video, so I kind of knew kind of what was going
Yeah.
on. But it was still, even that first time was like, I don't know, I was way excited just to see that you finally found one.
Yeah.
Knowing that, I mean, you went a long time without finding one and stuff. But
Yeah. What about you, Dev? Okay, so we talked about finding them. When we got to the bull, like tracked them down, and you finally shot it, what was going through your head? Like, because it's your first bull ever, you know, it's a crazy experience. Of course, we've gotten other animals before, all of us, but as your first bull elk, like what was going through your mind when you know, finally got eyes on him and finally released that arrow?
oh man, I was so stoked that we just found a bull to hunt, and then Braden was filming, and then I was the shooter, but then I was also calling, which I've never claimed to be a great caller. You know, there's been some comments made already about my calling, and again, I've never claimed to be a great caller, all right, but I can get by, and so just to be able to call in my own bull was an awesome experience. You know, called him in myself, and then when I saw him, there was a little bit of banter going back and forth, just a little bit of dialogue about like, oh, he's a raghorn, no, he's not a raghorn, and obviously, as you guys can see, like this is not a big bull by any means, but man, for me, he was a giant.
He looked way bigger when we first saw him.
Oh man, and then as you guys heard, he was just like screaming.
Oh, he's pissed.
50 yards in front of us, just screaming at us and chuckling, and so it was so exciting. And the setup really couldn't have worked out any better. I think the one thing that I could have done better is maybe just cow called at him to get him to stop in that opening
Yeah,
Before-
I remember we talked about
before
that.
shooting. So yeah, I think that's the one thing I could have done better. But where the arrow hit, the shot placement.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
We gotta dive into that. So that's kind of where we're at. But the shot placement was insane.
That might be the craziest kill shot I've ever
It's
seen.
definitely the craziest kill shot that I've ever heard of.
Yeah, like how it killed him or how it worked out was beyond me. Like, I mean, we kind of have an idea of what happened, but like the positioning was just perfect. That I'll let you talk about it. It's your bull, so you go into it.
I mean, you were there as well, but straight line from where I shot the bull to where he dropped at was somewhere around 40 to 60 yards. So he did not go very far at all. And so I figured, all right, it was double lung or it was heart shot or something like that. So I'm like, man, that had to have been a good shot because we heard him crash. We heard, you know, those death moans. We bugled and he growled back at us while he was dying.
He gurgled. It was.
And so you can hear
amazing.
that. You can hear that a little bit. The audio picked it up a little bit, but I was like, man, he died quick. So we go and look for blood. We didn't see any blood from where the shot was. We waited about an hour, then went and looked. No blood. And then we come up on the bull, and he's dead and dead. And there's no hole around the vitals
At
like
all.
double along their heart shot. So I'm like, there's this hole in his leg, as you can see. And Braden's like, man, that has to be where the arrow hit. I'm like, no way.
He didn't
Scrape that on a rock. That was a limb.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of
These
it
elk go through so much.
A lot of it was cut out on the final footage, but I said it like 4 or 5 times. I was like, dude, that has to be the hole where the arrow went in. And every time Devin's like, no way, dude, no way. He just didn't believe me. I'm like, dude, it's triangular. I was like, it has to be the hole. But it was just hard to believe. So,
So it was the hole that the arrow went through, and so it went in through like the shank or the hock, but rather than going through the leg and maybe puncturing out the skin and then into the chest cavity, what had happened is it went in and never created another hole. It traveled kind of up the leg and then into the chest cavity and then right into the top of his heart.
yeah.
Which
And we even
That's crazy.
have a picture of the broadhead. It stopped right in one of his main arteries that goes through your heart. I actually have a picture of the artery. You can see inside of it. There's the broadhead sticking in it, so it's pretty cool. I might plug it into the video, but you know how YouTube can be. They might not like that very much, but maybe we'll put it on Instagram for you guys.
So just that shot, just thinking back on that shot, I should have cow called to stop him. But the shot, I knew roughly what my distance was. I knew he was walking that direction, and so I pulled back and I anchored there, waiting for him to walk in front of me. And I set that distance at my 40-yard pin, and it was somewhere around that 40-45 yards. So I was maybe, hitting a little bit low, but it just felt great. Just like touched that trigger off, felt solid. And when I released, he jumped that string and spun super quick, and so I think he kind of spun into it as well, and that's kind of what helped with that angle. And either just kind of got that angle, or the arrow hit a bone. It could have been both as well.
Yeah.
And just traveled into his heart. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy lucky, crazy shot.
Was it worth all the days that we waited and all the hiking we did?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd go and do it again. And
I would too. Yeah.
Planning to go do it again next year. So.
Yep.
So yeah, and then after we got the bull down, went through the whole process of cutting him up. It was about 5 miles back to camp, and got him back to camp, and then Oliver was to be there in about another day. So then that night, we were sitting at camp. Was it that night or I don't remember whether it was that night or the next night.
No, Oliver came up the next night.
Because that night we grilled up the tenderloins, but
Yep.
which night was it that we saw the elk across the lake? Was it that same night, or was it the next night? I can't remember.
I want to say it was that same night.
Yeah, I think it was the same night.
I think,
Yeah,
it was the same night because we were. What is it? Man, I can't remember.
You
now.
guys had come back to camp early.
Yeah, because we got him down and we killed him in the morning.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
so-
I mean, yeah, he was dead. You had quartered him up, packed out, and then went back early that morning, hunted your way in, and you didn't see anything, didn't hear anything.
Oh yeah,
so
you're right.
You packed up all the rest of the meat and came back to camp and started to rest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it was
okay.
the day after Devin killed his.
Day after we killed him.
Then that's when we saw that other, what you guys saw, that other smaller bull that was across the lake from us. And I mean, if you guys want, I can start talking about that.
Yeah, talk about that just a little bit, because we put the camera on that elk
Yeah.
as he was out there feeding, and there was a little bit of that footage. But there was a good couple of minutes of us kind of running and scrambling around.
Yeah. So
while in our long johns.
right. So there's a little clip that you guys saw of us zoomed away, and it was zoomed all the way in on this elk that we saw out there feeding, and we saw him wallowing a little bit. And when the reason the camera was even right there is because we were getting ready to eat our dinner and do our little closeout for the day with you guys, and all of a sudden, as we already had the water in our food and everything, so our food was like mid cook. And Devin's like, holy crap, there's an elk over there. So I was like, where? Freaking, we found it, we saw it. Devin put the camera on him. And, I think right after Devin put the camera on, I'm like, come on, let's get ready, let's go. And so we're like, because we still had plenty of daylight left, we got back kind of early. So we had some daylight left, and we're just getting together our essentials, like our bow, arrows, and rangefinder. I think that's literally all we brought with us, and then the camera, of course. But we're running back and forth in camp while the camera's sitting there on this bull.
Just to interrupt you, just real quick. So there's a little bit of foreshadowing because we had hunted around this area, and this is where I picked up that poop. You guys liked the poop fingers, and I could smell the elk. And so yeah. So we'd hunted around this area, and we got back to camp, and I was like, man, it seems like there's an elk.
Oh
in
yeah.
this area, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like there's an elk, and who knows where it's at or what it is. So an elk.
It was like unintentional foreshadowing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we saw the evidence of that elk, but we figured he just had moved out or something because we weren't seeing him and he wasn't calling to us or nothing. But anyways, so we finally saw him, and we're scrambling, running back and forth to get all of our gear ready, and because we just dumped pack and we're relaxing because we just got done, 2 days in a row hiking him back to camp, so we were tired. But then we saw him, and we're like scrambling to get ready, and we ended up going after him, wearing nothing but I think I had my merino wool long johns on. And I don't remember what you had on, but I had that on, and then I had a t-shirt and my puffy, and that's all I was wearing, and my sandals. And so me and Devin were both running around back there with our sandals and essentially what is our pajamas when we're hunting. So we're running around in our PJs and our sandals trying to get this bull, but unfortunately he was really young, and he wasn't with any cows, he wasn't with a herd or anything, and so he just didn't care about any of the calls we did. We tried bugling, we tried cow calls, we tried little wimpy bugles, we tried big bugles, we tried just about everything to pull him in, and just nothing was getting him to come in. So we were like, we'll hunt him tomorrow with Oliver, but there's not much we can do because other than sitting out on the edge of the field waiting for him to walk out, which you could sit there for a whole week and he doesn't come back. There's no real options other than that. And so we weren't going to waste a ton of time hunting him. And he wasn't even a very big bull anyways. He was really, really young. Just a spike. But, yeah, we spent that one day hunting him. And then that was pretty much it for him. So, but it's still awesome to see another bull over there right next to camp. Right where we were seeing those bulls last year, too. So, it was pretty awesome, but it sucks that we couldn't get in on him or get him to call back to us. But
well, that's not the kind of hunt we're going for anyway.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
We want screaming bulls.
We want screaming bulls.
Yeah.
If they don't respond, just move on.
Yep.
Pretty much.
If they're not ready to rut, they're not ready to call back to us.
Yeah.
That's just not the kind of hunt we're looking for.
Yep. So from there, Oliver shows up. You guys saw that on camera. I have to give Oliver credit because we didn't really decide to hunt up there that much after that. We decided to then pack out. So Oliver hiked in the 10 miles, and then we loaded up meat, and then we hiked out,
Yeah.
and then we hiked back in to get camp, and then back out. So Oliver was there for 2 days. 2 days, and put on about 40 miles in those 2 days. And somewhere in there, we're guessing that he had tweaked his knee.
Yep. I think it was on the first day on the way in, honestly. Don't take pre-workout before you hike 10 miles. Way out of shape.
Gosh. You're crazy.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I made it up pretty quick, but...
So you tweaked your knee, and that was bugging you, and then we packed out the meat and whatnot, and we decided to relocate just because that basin was not
dry.
It wasn't providing very much, so we decided to relocate, and then go pack back into another area, and start hunting, and we found elk, but from that point, Oliver's knee was really starting to bother him because we put on a lot of miles, and so we hunted a little bit back in there, and looking back now, we had a few elk kind of located, a few bulls, and we should have probably just let Oliver rest at camp a day or two
Yeah.
while Braden and I kept going after it. But we had been, we did stop at a hotel and get, some good food and a shower, but we'd been back in there for 12, 14 days, something like that already. So we'd been in the backcountry a long time, eating freeze-dried meals and living out of a tent and sleeping bag. So
yeah, and we did an estimate on Onyx, and within those 2 weeks, me and Devin, I think, we just kind of quickly mapped it out, walked about 130 to 150 miles in those 2 weeks, and so, just walking around searching for the elk, and again, that's just an estimate, it could be off, could only be 100 miles, but sure did feel like the full 150, and dude, we were just so tired after that elk hunt. It was tough. I mean, it was super fun and worth it, every bit of it. But we were tired, and so I think we were kind of just, ready to go home at that point. But,
yeah, I think we were kind of ready to get out of there. I think we could have gotten another elk down if we stayed just a couple more days.
And next year we're definitely gonna stay those extra 2 days if we need to. So
yeah,
we're not gonna cheap ourselves out.
Well, hindsight's always 20/20, and you live and you learn.
Yeah, for sure.
I really would have liked to take a day, 2 days. I mean, I still have time. I know you guys were willing to, stick it out.
I think we had another 3 to 5 days left
3
of
to
that
5
hunt,
days.
something like that.
I think it was 3.
Yeah.
I had blocked out quite a bit of time to stay up there, but you hurt yourself, and that pain just breaks you down mentally.
Yeah,
That's what it was. It was a mental game of,
that's all you can think
I'm-
about, really.
obviously that stuff hurt, but not making the best decision as far as time management. We had time.
Mm-hmm.
We could have rested. I mean, I could have rested while you guys were doing whatever you wanted to do, and so I mean that's my fault. That's my bad.
Yeah, and I mean, you hiked in you hiked in to pack out an elk, so I'm very appreciative of that.
You're essentially our pack mule.
so very, very appreciative of that, but
Well,
I didn't want to see you pack out another elk with your knee already hurting you,
Sure,
and that land you in the hospital.
sure.
So if we got another elk down,
Yeah.
I know that you would have been packing out a lot of our camp, or you'd have been packing out an elk, one of the two. I know that you wouldn't have just taken a light path.
It was unfortunate, but it was kind of the safe decision to make.
It
to
was
just pull out, and just leave when we did.
Yeah. Very true. See, there's a lot.
It's all hindsight, You're always like, I
There's
could.
so much that goes into this
Yeah.
thing.
You're always like, I could have done this, I could have done that, but at the end of the day, it's like the decision you make is the decision you make,
Well,
and it's good that we made the safe decision. So.
Especially 6-8 miles into the backcountry
Oh yeah.
without help. You can't just drive back there. So if something did happen, or if your knee did go out on you, one misstep, whatever, that could become bad.
Yeah, it could become. It could go from an uncomfortable situation to a bad situation really fast.
So that's kind of the things that we were processing. We didn't see much of that on camera, but that was kind of the decision and conclusion that we came to.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of why we pulled out early. Like we Brayden and I were tired, but also Oliver's knee was really starting to act up, and we'd done our best to help mitigate it. But it was a good decision, I think.
I agree. I think it was
Yeah.
safe.
So then that kind of wrapped up our archery elk season there,
Mm-hmm.
and so.
So what are you guys? I don't know who all's going this next season, but what if you are going, or even if you're not going, if you're looking forward to, what are you guys looking forward to next Archery Elk season? Even if you're not going, what are you looking forward to for those of us that are?
Screaming bulls like the first year.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah.
We got
Comment
spoiled.
over.
We got so spoiled.
Yeah.
So that first year where we weren't filming, it's like the saying, you should have been here yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh,
We were there yesterday.
We were there
yesterday.
We got those two got 2 bulls in 2 days, and we had more elk all around us,
And
just screaming
I
their heads
shot-
off.
I shot at one the next day after that, or was it 2 days after?
I think it was
Two
two
days.
days because
Yeah.
we had packed
Packed out.
them out and all the meat,
Yeah.
and then packed back in.
So I shot at one, but my arrow went over it. I misjudged the range, and I didn't have a rangefinder on me. So, what can you do? It was my first year archery elk hunting, or archery hunting period, and so my judgment of range, with a bow and out there in an environment I'm not used to, it was just not that good. So I judged it 10 yards too far, and so I shot right over its back. And it is what it is, but I mean, we still got 2 bulls, shot at a third, and there's elk everywhere. It was crazy.
So the thing that I learned this year about archery elk hunting and calling, that I learned this year that I'm gonna do different next year, is that we spent too long in too small of an area.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
so we spent a lot of days where we thought there were elk, or where there were elk last year. Well, it wasn't last year, but we would just sit in that spot and sit there and call and call and call, just hoping something would come in. So next year, I'm just gonna keep moving. We're gonna split up. We're gonna cover miles and just bugle and bugle and bugle until we find that bull that responds back to us. Because
Yeah,
we spent a week hunting,
We were being
but we were in too small of an area.
yeah,
not
we were
covering
being
up.
far too optimistic.
Yeah.
Because of what happened last year. Last year was like freaking propaganda for us. It made us think that was the honey hole, and the elk were just gonna stay right there. And of course, that's not the case. Elk are migratory; they move around. So they weren't there this year, and we just wasted way too much time sitting there. So, but anyways, Dev, what are you looking forward to next year on this archery hunt?
So I got my bull this year, and then the year before we were filming, I called in a bull for Oliver, and so next year I really want to call in a bull for you. So I'd really like to see you get a bull. Another thing that I'm looking forward to is our friends from Texas. We went hunting down on their ranch. Well, they're coming up to Utah. They're going to be going elk hunting with us this next fall, and so I'm looking forward to kind of showing them a backcountry archery elk hunt. They've never done it. They've really never done anything like it before, and so they're used to that whitetail Texas hunting, and so I'm really looking forward to getting them in the backcountry too, and showing them that experience.
Yeah, Oliver, what are you excited about for next season?
Oh.
You're going, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good. You better be there.
It's just a known thing. September 12th through the 30th, somewhere in there, that's vacation time.
Oh yeah.
What I'm looking forward to new country.
Mm-hmm.
For one thing, the area that we like to hunt is so versatile, and I mean, there's so many beautiful views. It's awesome to throw camp on your back and just rough it out there and spend time with each other and have those experiences. Learn something new, like Devin was saying. We can't just sit and call in one spot.
Mm-hmm.
And not every season's or not every spot is going to be this heyday of screaming bulls and the different dynamics of the way the landscape works, and just all that stuff. It's not just about killing an elk. It's about being out there and challenging yourself and hanging out with each other,
Yep.
working hard together,
Mm-hmm.
having a dang good time doing it.
Yeah. It's so much fun.
Yeah, get that knee in shape.
We're going to.
Yeah.
We'll have to.
Yeah.
We'll do some workout videos.
It'd be sweet to see Braden killing right there in the same range. All our first bulls would
I know, right?
That would be so cool.
So yeah, like you just said, this was my first bull,
yeah.
and then last year it was both of your all's first bulls.
And we killed ours like 200 yards apart.
Oh, it wasn't
They're
very
right
far.
next. They're right next to you.
It wasn't very. We knew where they were.
You could see one bull from the
Yeah.
the death spots were within eyesight. They're so close.
And mine was in the same drainage. So we
Yeah.
might just have to go back to the same drainage just to get you
We go kill that spike.
your first bull.
Just to poke that dead horse one more time.
Yep. One more time.
Yeah, I this year we've been getting a ton of moisture this winter. It's
Oh,
just
man.
been snow and rain and just tons and tons of water. So I'm hopeful that they'll stay up higher because of it. Granted, that's a little contradictory because we were saying that's why they were down low, because more moisture. But I'm thinking, since we had all of it this last season, I'm hoping next season's either drier or the feed is just so good up high that they're gonna stay up higher. So I'm hopeful personally that there's gonna be a herd of elk up there, or maybe even 2 herds. I'm hopeful that in that same basin that we've been in, that we're gonna find elk again. But if not, we've been doing more scouting and more, we've been doing more looking around than we did previously, and we got some more areas to check out. So I'm pretty confident that we'll at least fill a tag or 2 next season, because we're just getting more and more experience and learning the area more and more. And so I think as long as I can hit my freaking shots, I think there's a good chance. That I'll get a bull next season, and I really hope that one of you guys gets a bull next season too. If not, our guests. I really hope they get a bull too, because they're just so generous to us in Texas. So me and Devin, we're gonna try really hard to get them one. So
Yeah, that'll be sweet.
So Walter, you're looking at getting a new pack. So does that mean you're gonna come with us and put that pack to use?
I might have to
Or are
tell
you
my
gonna
wife.
do? You just gonna this truck hunting, just driving around type of stuff?
No, I don't do that.
Oh, okay. Not very far from a road though.
Well, that's where the deer are.
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, watching these videos, or at the beginning of the season, I was like, I don't know, I might, because I got dedicated hunter. I was like, I gotta stick it out, kill me a good buck. Then watching the videos, I'm like, I don't know, I kind of want to go back. But,
Yeah. When that bull just starts screaming.
Oh my
you
God.
know,
yeah,
Not but 50, 100
The
yards.
video doesn't do it justice, guys. It's that bull was pissed, and it was so cool. Gosh, it's such a good time, such a fun spot. But yeah, I think we're all pretty excited to go next year. Hopefully, all 4 of us can go up together. If not, there's plenty more hunts we'll all be on together. So
Yeah, I think that wraps up the first part.
Yeah.
Of the series, the elk hunt. I think next we'll be off to Wyoming. So
yeah,
stay tuned for that. We might have a few videos in between this hunt and then the next Wyoming hunt. But guys, just if you're watching on YouTube, which is the only place that we're posting it right now, it doesn't cost you anything to go and watch. But if you could please just help us out by subscribing, leave a comment, make sure to like the video and share the video as well. And that just helps us out a lot. It doesn't cost you anything to do any of that. It doesn't cost you anything to watch. But that would really help us out a lot. So we'd appreciate that.
we're a real small channel, so getting started like this, it's really hard, and we dedicate a lot of time to doing this, and we're making no money off of it. So it's a very expensive hobby right now, very expensive lifestyle, and just you guys supporting us, it means a lot. Every single like that we get, we're like, oh my gosh, we got another like on the video, like heck yeah. So every single one matters. So whatever you guys can do, we really appreciate it, and it means a lot to us. We see and read every single comment we get. We notice every single like we get. So yeah, whatever you guys can do to help us out, even if it's just a like, we really appreciate it. So
All right. Catch you guys next time.
thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.